Hello, everybody, and welcome to HTF Bets, our live Thursday show here on the Hitting the Field Network. I'm Riley Shepard. On today's episode, we're talking NBA, UFC 287, and as always, our surefire picks of the week. So don't go anywhere because HTF Bets starts now. Welcome back, everybody. Kelly Campbell to my right, Jeff Laux to my left, and over there is our guy Phil to join us to talk some NBA. Phil, how are we doing today?
I'm doing marvelous. How about yourself, Riley?
I'm doing great, guys. How are we doing today?
I'm doing really good. I'm having a great week. I'm excited to talk some NBA playoffs.
The NBA regular season ends April 9th.
And I think something historic happened last night during the Lakers-Clippers game. You know, LeBron throwing the ball right to Russell Westbrook on the bench and then him getting up in awkward silence and giving the ball back. It was just a picture-perfect moment.
Former teammates, of course. And, Jeff, we're sad. Our Orlando Magic officially eliminated from the play-in contention. So we're going to talk some actual NBA playoff teams that are not the Orlando Magic. Phil, we're looking at these odds right now, and the Milwaukee Bucks are leading the charge for title favorites at plus 240. Do you agree with these odds, or is there another team that you'd pick above them?
No, I definitely agree with these odds. The Bucks are the best team in the NBA. They have the best record. They're 58-22. They're 32-8 at home and 26-14 on the road. So they can win. They could definitely win on the road, and they could also beat you at home. You know, of course, Giannis being Giannis, averaging 31.1 points, and he averaging 11.8 rebounds. This is a great team. They have a big 4, maybe 5. And Giannis, Chris Middleton is finally picking it up. It took a little minute, but he's finally picking it up. Of course, Drew Holiday, for some reason, had a...
Thank you for bringing up Drew.
Oh, yes. Yeah, who dropped 51 points. No one seen that coming. I'm sorry. Even no one saw that coming. And then Bobby Portis as well. I love me some Bobby Portis. And then
Bobby Portis,
Brook Lopez, he could hurt you from outside. And also, he's a great rebounder as well. So this is the best team in the league. There are teams who can compete, may push them to a game 7, but they're good on transition. They have a great 3-ball, and of course, defense plays a big part. So they have a very good team. So
I'm gonna have to disagree, sir. I don't think they're the best team out of the title odds right now. I think the Suns are being slept on, and I'm just looking at their statistics right now. There's over 7 players over 10 points averaging right now, and obviously we're not talking about D-Book, Kevin Durant, Aiden. We're talking about like Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson, Cameron Payne. Those guys are all averaging.
The guys they traded for Kevin Durant for? What are you talking about? Come on, Jeff.
See, this is from last month.
Come on, Jeff. No. And that's a big thing. Like I legitimately think losing those guys is why they might not actually contend for a title, is because they gave up a lot of their bench depth to get Kevin Durant. And KD's only suited up 7 games. Kelly, do you think the Suns are the favorite in the West?
I think they could have been KD is one of the best players in the country. Period, point blank. But what you have to be worried about is, like, this is a new team they don't have a lot of experience playing with each other. Playoffs are literally right around the corner. Like Jeff was saying, this team is so new. You don't even know which ones are kind of still here. Like, it's so new. So I think it's a little too late to put them together to be successful in the playoff run. Don't get me wrong. I think they're definitely, like, heavy contenders for the West. But I don't know, man. I don't think their defensive depth is there anymore to get them where they want to be. I definitely think they could make a run for it 100%, but I don't know if they're going to be able to last through potentially 7 games multiple times.
Yeah, do y'all believe that they have like the 3 best-headed like duo or trio of Booker, Durant, and Chris Paul? Because watching the highlight tape, it's either going to Durant, Book's going to drive down the lane, or CP3 is going to drain a 3-point shot. And CP3's been playing really well this season, honestly.
Yeah.
Like he's still draining his 3-point shots, still great with the assists, everything of that nature.
The only question I have is how healthy can they stay come playoff time? We know Chris Paul has always, as soon as he reaches the playoffs, every year he somehow gets injured. A lot of it's not been his fault, but DeAndre Ayton leads this team in started games, and he's only started 66 games. Do you think, Phil, I want to ask you, do you think the Suns are the favorite to come out of the West?
I understand why they are the favorite to come out the West, but I don't think they are going to come out the West.
Yeah.
I have to give that nod to the number 1 seed right now in the West, and the Denver Nuggets. I know I want to pick the Clippers because, my boy Russell in there, but I want to be a little realistic here. Reason why I chose the Nuggets because, of course, they have maybe the MVP between him and Embiid and the Joker, Jamal Murray, who's an all-star point guard, and they also have baby KD over there and Michael Porter Jr.
Mr. does not pass the ball, but it's
He does
okay.
not pass the ball at all. But this and past years with the Nuggets, it was either Jamal Murray was out, Michael Porter was out, but this time they are very healthy. They have more depth than what they ever had in the past. So they can I can see them coming out. Now, if KD stays healthy, because ever since he got hurt on the Warriors, it's just been up and downhill when it comes to injuries. And he is 34, 35 years old. So, but if the Suns stay healthy, I could see it being the Nuggets versus the Suns. I'm going with, I say 6 games, and I say the Nuggets.
You would take the Nuggets in a 7-game series against the Suns?
Yeah, because they don't have no one. The Suns don't have no one to stop the Joker.
Now, I noticed you didn't bring up the defending champion Golden State Warriors, who are the third best favorite in the West to come out of the conference at plus 380. But a lot of that has to do with how horrible they are going to be, or they are on the road. 9-30 on the road right now, at 26% win percentage on the road. Do you think the Warriors have any chance coming out of the West?
I mean, they may get Andrew Wiggins back, start of the playoffs. So, honestly, no, they don't have a chance. No. You're 9-30 on the road. If I'm the opposing team, I'm like, okay, if we just beat the Warriors, one time at their house, and they can't beat us at our house. So, yeah, it's a win. Like, I would like for the Warriors to beat the Grizzlies because that's just bad blood, and I love to see it. I don't like the Grizzlies. I just hope they're out the first round. But last year on the road, they was 22-19. So go from 22-19 to 9-30. That's pretty bad. They're at the 6th seed as well, so they're going to play a very good team. So in the highest seeding. So I mean, they're not going to go. I get them if they win their first round. They're definitely getting out the second round.
It's actually like historically bad.
Historically.
Riley was doing some research. We were talking about it before the show, and when was the last time that a team that's under 30% of losing their road? So they've only won 30% of the road games. Actually, their number is 23%.
Right.
The last time a team has done this in the playoffs was.
Yeah, the 83-84 Suns, Phoenix Suns, are the only team to win a playoff series when their regular season road win percentage was less than 30%. The Warriors have no chance of getting over 30%. The best they can finish is 26% on the road this season, which is just to put in perspective, the defending champs stink on the road, but they're great at home, which kind of balances out. I want to go around really quick and talk about what is one surprise team that we can all see making a deep playoff run, kind of like the 2020 Miami Heat. And then last season, a lot of people counted out the Warriors. Jeff, I want to start with you.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Okay.
They're at plus 1,400 odds right now. I mean, I'm looking at the bottom 3 teams, the Knicks, Heat, and Cavs. I think the Cavs had the more complete team out of those teams. And I think Spida is heating up at the right time, beating the Orlando Magic the other night, dropping 40 on our heads.
Yeah.
Wasn't a nice sight as a Magic fan. But I think the Cavs, overall, they have a lot of young pieces. They just need a little more vet presence.
Kelly, what do you think?
Honestly, I know we were literally just talking smack about them, but the Warriors,
yeah.
I don't want to sleep on them in the playoffs. I think Steph Curry, if he stays healthy, if the rest of his team can stay healthy, I know they have problems with injuries, but they have the experience. They've been here multiple times before. So I think they kind of just need to flip the switch and be like, okay, this is kind of where it matters now. We can't keep losing these road games like we've been losing these road games. So that, I think if they get through the first round of the playoffs, then I think as long as there's not too many away games, they should be okay.
And I honestly, I don't hate either of those picks. I think Cleveland has a great backcourt. The Warriors obviously have something not a lot of teams can say in that much championship experience. Phil, what do you think?
I mean, Kelly, the Warriors, you sure about that?
Yes.
You sure about that?
I'm just going to say yes.
Okay. My surprise team is the Sacramento Kings. I mean, De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, they are a great duo, man. I mean, they're the 3rd seed, and no one see the Kings coming, not even I. And, I could see a lot of stuff coming. I even claimed that, Miami was going to make the Final Four, but that's the point. But, yeah, so, no, they're 3rd seed. I believe their record is 48 and Well, basically, they could win in 50 games this season, which I can't remember the last time the Kings even came close to that. So I think they will make a strong playoff push. I'm not making them come out the West, but I say they could lose in either the second round or in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, no, I think I really like that Kings pick. Honestly, you touched on Sabonis, you touched on Fox. Kevin Huerter has been a great pickup for them this season. Great defensive player, great three-point shooter. I don't know if they could beat, like you said, I don't think they can beat a team like the Grizzlies or the Nuggets. But I think they can make a lot of teams scared in a 7-game series. I think they can push any of those teams to 7 games. But unfortunately, that is all the time we have for NBA. Phil, thank you so much for joining us. But don't go anywhere because Dominic Moeller is joining us to talk some UFC. We'll be right back.
Welcome to HTF Hot Takes. I'm Johnny Jackson. We've got Emily Aaron to my right and Maluka Costa to my left.
Hello and welcome to our segment of Hot Ones. I'm here with Noah Kemper and Grant
Wheeler.
Yep, I knew that. Grant Wheeler.
Listen, I'm a Bulls fan, but I just can't ever argue against LeBron. I watched him my whole life.
I've been going back and forth with this debate for a long time. It's got to be Michael Jordan.
Whatever she wanted. I would wake up in a maid costume for Doja Cat.
Brutal.
Jeffrey Laux, no question.
Richie, I would give it to Richie.
It is not Richie. It is not Richie.
No, it's Jeff.
Richie's pronouns are he, they, because he cannot be him.
What?
Oh, wait a second.
I'm gonna have to also agree and say Jeff. He always is spiffy.
It might be Cameron. Cameron's had some good fits.
Out of the women, Norelli always dresses really, really cute.
Brother. That went so awful.
It's basketball.
College football, I think, is the best sport to watch.
If you don't like soccer, it's because you suck at it.
I think college football is the best.
Thanks for watching.
Welcome back, and for the first time in Season 6, we're talking some UFC, and joining us is none other than our UFC expert, Dominic Moeller. Dom, how are we doing today?
I mean, it's an honor to be on such a knockout of a segment that we're about to be having.
I like
Little
it.
main show bets collab. I can't complain. I cannot complain.
Now, Dom, we have a pretty stacked lineup in UFC 287 and also the first UFC event in Miami in 20 years. Now, I don't want to waste any time, so let's get right into it. Of course, the main event, the middleweight title bout, Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya. Tell me about it.
I mean, talk about a grimy rivalry that's going on here. Pereira and Adesanya, style bender. Pereira, who's, I don't even know how he fits into that weight class. I mean, he's a true heavyweight when he walks around. You see this guy, he's just a gigantic mammoth of a man. And then you got Adesanya, who's one of the biggest stars in the whole company right now. So it's going to be a really tough fight. You know, Pereira has had Adesanya's number, and he actually came to the UFC from Adesanya's public interview call-out where he called him a nobody. Came here, beat him in his own promotion. I mean, it's crazy. The story writes itself, but I'm going to just jump the gun here. I think Adesanya wins this because the one thing Pereira doesn't have is wrestling. And I think he just jumps the gun and Adesanya takes him down and shows his, wherewithal. He did the same thing with previous opponents before, Stipe. So it's going to be a good fight to see, though. Miami brings out the stars, as they say.
Yeah, and I mean, you touched on the history. They've, of course, fought 3 times, twice in kickboxing and once in UFC. At the last time, either of them fought at UFC 281, where Pereira knocked him out in the 5th round. I want to touch on just how much Adesanya dominated the first 4 rounds of that fight. The judges' scorecard had Adesanya leading 3-1, and Adesanya is, of course, the favorite going into it. Pereira is a plus 135 underdog. Do you think that's a fair spread, Dom?
I mean, I think it's a fair spread. Like I said before, Adesanya was kind of that guy the whole fight. I don't know what it was about last year, but those late round, 5th round knockouts we saw with Leon and Rocky Edwards against dominant champions was the tail of the tape. It was kind of crazy to see. You had to finish the fight and watch them. But, yeah, I think the odds are pretty good on this one. But, hey, you never know. This is the UFC. Anything can happen. We saw I didn't know if Edwards would be able to beat Usman like that, and he did. So it's all about shifting and kind of learning from it. And I think Adesanya is one of the best learners in the UFC. So him able to learn like that is just something that's going to be great to see.
And I'm honestly curious because you are a UCF analyst. You are the man. Do you think Pereira has a chance? Because he's won 7 straight fights. He's kind of on a hot streak. You know, perfect 4-0 since joining the UFC. Do you think that he can continue the streak over Israel or no?
I think it's mainly just an ego fight. You know, if Adesanya wants to stand and throw with a monster like Pereira, it's not going to end well for him. It's going to be like a storybook ending if he can actually bring him to the ground. If not, it's going to be like Nightmare on Elm Street where Freddy Krueger comes and takes you over. So I don't know. I hope Adesanya learns from it and he takes him down and uses his wrestling. But
Yeah.
don't be ego. Don't be an ego fighter.
I have a question for you because, like, when I was researching this fight and stuff, it seems like Pereira is better in every category. And I know that Adesanya has he has more experience. I mean, he's 23-2 compared to Pereira's 7-1, but he's also undefeated since he's entered the UFC. Like, he's 4-0. He's beat him 3 times. He was a dual championship. He had a dual belt for the kickboxing league that he was in 2 weights at the same time, which is insane to me and doesn't make sense. But I feel like he's kind of being disrespected. Like, he's not the favorite in this fight right now.
I will say his stand-up is next level, but his wrestling is like the gum at the bottom of the desk.
What about his left hook?
You don't want it to acknowledge it, but when you accidentally bump your knee into it, you have to acknowledge it. He's not a good wrestler. It's just point blank simple. But like I said, if it's an ego fight, Pereira will win just off of striking if Adesanya wants to go there. But that's the thing about UFC. Yeah. There's wrestlers that are just taking over. The Dagestani wrestlers, they are taking over. So wrestling's becoming a big thing now.
Yeah, and you touched on just how much Adesanya is willing to learn. And he mentioned after last fight that he wants to focus. He doesn't want Pereira to be able to use his kickboxing. Like he said how much that hurt him getting kicked in the legs over and over and over again. How do you think Adesanya is going to combat that? How do you think he's going to be able to defend that this time around?
I think the biggest thing is about checking those kicks. You know, Adesanya is a great kickboxer himself.
Yeah.
Checking those kicks to where then it's going to hurt more to throw one of those kicks than actually absorb it and land it is the big thing. Once you get rid of those legs we're seeing now in modern day UFC, leg kicks are the key right now. You get those legs weak, it's tough. It's tough to do anything on the feet.
Yeah, and I want to go to the co-main event really quick because it is Gilbert Burns and Jorge Masvidal in Masvidal's hometown of Miami, Florida. Dom, what do we think about this fight? Masvidal is the big underdog at plus 390, while Gilbert Burns is a minus 490 favorite. Do you think it is going to be a beat down for Gilbert Burns?
I'm actually going to be taking a surprising twist on this. I think Masvidal wins this. He's got a lot of his hometown. I've been watching a little bit of Joe Rogan podcast too. He's got some stem cells flowing through his body. He's feeling pretty healthy. It's his home state. I'm in a hometown, and I think he does win this because I think Gilbert Burns makes it, like I said before, an ego fight. He wants to beat him at his own thing in his own backyard. If it gets brought to the ground, though, it's going to be tough to see, but Masvidal has been training with Bo Nickel, one of the best wrestlers.
Yeah,
that
Bo
we've
Nickel,
seen.
shout out.
Yeah, Penn State. I know.
My favorite.
I had to see it. I had to put that in there.
Amazing.
But yeah, I think his wrestling has gotten better, but Gilbert Burns is
you know what? I honestly don't hate it because of how good of a boxer that Masvidal is. He has a 45% knockout to win ratio, which is insane. I don't hate the Masvidal knockout odds at plus 700.
I hate it because I think Burns is a beast. I was making his highlights and I was like, dude, this guy can actually take people to the ground, make them submit really quick.
You know what?
Yeah, he's got a durable chin.
But
he does have a durable chin. I will say that.
You just said he's been training with Bo Nickel, who is one of the greatest college wrestlers in history. His coach his coach from college never lost a match ever. He was an Olympic gold medalist, never lost a wrestling match ever. So I'm just saying, I don't know how long they've been training together, but if you're going to train with one of the best wrestlers
and I know Masvidal is not going to be able to out-wrestle Burns at all. He's going to have to do it while standing up. Would you think, really quick before you go to a quick commercial break, Dom, I want to ask you, do you think this fight goes over 2.5 rounds?
I think it does. I actually think this is going to be a Masvidal win on decision, which is going to be a surprising one to see. I
That's
think he
plus
just keeps.
1,000 odds.
Yeah, I think
okay.
he keeps it on the. I think he keeps it on the feet, and he throws more significant strikes than Burns. But a knockout could be in the cards. That'd be kind of a nice way for Masvidal to.
Now that's all the time we have for UFC. Dom isn't going anywhere. He's joining us for Pick of the Week. So we're gonna toss to a quick commercial break. So don't go anywhere.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hitting the Field Network. I'm your main show host, Dominic Moeller, and this is just a little PSA to come check out our network. We have shows for all your favorite interests, sporting needs, or really anything if you're interested in the world of sports. Of course, our first show is The Combine with Cameron Forcier and Isaiah Deonda Delgado. It's more of a laid-back podcast type beat. But next is the main show. The best show ever created, the best show ever engineered, pioneered, with me, this pretty face on your screen, this handsome fellow. Going to be talking about mainly the main things of the wide world of sports. And then on Thursdays, we have Nighttime with the lovely Emily Aaron and the handsome and dashing Camden Mallory. Then right after, for all you gambling addicts out there, I hope you viewers aren't gambling addicts as much as some of the other people in Hitting the Field. We have Hitting the Field Bets with Riley Shepard, Jeffrey Laux, and Waluka Costa. And then we switch it up. We don't always do shows. We like to do a little bit of interviews too. We do interviews with a lot of sports athletes, such as Corey Marksman, that I did. Shout out Dominic Moeller right here, this guy. And then, of course, Kristen Scott with Camden Mallory. And we have more coming in the works. We're always innovating and thinking on our feet. But if you want to join us, be sure to DM Hitting the Field on all social media platforms and networks as well, because we're open to anybody to come through and just check out the program. But be sure to tune in, as Hitting the Field will be seeing you very shortly. Take care.
Welcome back, everyone. And today we're going to be keeping the fighting element around, and that's because our player with purpose this week is John Cena. Mr. You Can't See Me is by far one of the most generous professional athletes to exist. Guinness World Records just announced that Cena broke their record for most Make-A-Wish Foundation's wishes granted with 650. That is, no single person has granted more than 200 wishes according to the foundation. So that's a huge gap right there. Through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, children that are gravely ill or sick children between the ages of 2 and 18 have the opportunity to meet a celebrity, attend an event, or enjoy priceless moments with an athlete. Cena has been heavily involved with the Make-A-Wish Foundation throughout his career, and he is the most requested celebrity by recipients. And I can't say it, and he says this, I can't say enough how cool it is to see the kids so happy and their families so happy. I truly want to show them that it's their day, he said in a video produced by WWE's YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Aaron Cabana, for the wonderful graphic that was shown on screen. And thank you to John Cena for being a legend and an icon for the generations to come.
And thank you, Jeff, for sharing that. That was awesome. 650 Make-A-Wish visits is absolutely insane. And so going right into pick of the week, Dom, I want to start with you. It, of course, has to do with UFC 287.
Yeah, I mean, hey, shout out to you, Jeff, for doing a little John Cena highlight. You can't see me. I love the guy watching, love some WWE wrestling, but I'm going to have to go switch it over to actually something that UFC and WWE combined now off that merger. I'm picking Adesanya. That's my surefire pick. I said it before. I think he really does learn from this. I haven't even seen him been doing that many interviews. I think he's so locked into this fight. I think he learns from it, and like I said before, what he did kind of with Stipe and Yoel Romero before, he neutralizes that attack, and he makes it more of a grappling and ground type of fight. It may be boring to watch. I don't think it's going to be as exciting as the first fight in the UFC, not their kickboxing fights, but I think it's still going to be a good fight, and I do think Adesanya wins it, and I do think he wins by decision or even submission.
I was going to ask, do you Adesanya by submission is plus 2,200? Any chance?
I think there could be a chance. I will say this, Pereira has been training against submission attempts because his wrestling is so lackluster. He doesn't like to get caught in those submission attempts. So I have seen that he has been training to kind of defend that, but I still think that Adesanya controls the ground. I think he has kind of a fight like, his fight is going to be structured like how Kamaru Usman kind of fought when he was reigning as champion. And I think he learns like I said, I think he learns a lot from that, and he takes a lot from Volk, his training partner.
And Kelly, what is your pick of the week? 6-3. Kelly is 6-3 right now, so let's see if she.
Yes, my favorite segment. But I'm going back to the NBA. I'm gonna take a little chance, take a little risk here. I'm doing the Suns versus the Lakers, and I know we're talking a lot about the Suns today, but this is the game on Sunday the 7th at 10:30 at night. So right now the odds actually aren't released for this, but Phoenix has a 35.2% chance of winning and the Lakers at 64.8 according to ESPN's matchup indicator. Some things are really going to have to take into consideration is KD's health. How is he going to play tonight, and how is that going to reflect tomorrow? I'm pretty sure the Suns also play tonight.
Yes.
They're on a 6-game win streak. They have not lost with KD as a member of the Suns. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see. The Lakers were on a 4-game win streak, but then they lost last night to was it the Clippers?
Yes,
the Clippers.
yes.
So that's going to be interesting, but I'm going to go with the Suns. Like I said, I do have them coming out of the West, at least for me. So I'm going to take the Suns. I'm going to take this new team, and I think sometimes when it works, no matter how long you've had it put together. So.
Yeah, and I'm actually going with the Suns game tonight. They play at home against the Denver Nuggets, and I want you to ignore the lower third that is on the screen right now because Nikola Jokic is probably not going to play. He has a calf strain. Probably going to be out the rest of the season, their last 2 games, just to recover for the playoffs. But I am still going to take the Nuggets to cover the 7.5-point spread that is set on the Suns. I think the Suns will probably still win. They're going to keep that winning streak with Kevin Durant alive, keep that perfect record alive. But I think the Nuggets have a good chance to cover. They're riding the confidence since they locked up the first seed in the Western Conference in franchise history. So with or without Nikola Jokic, I think they'll keep it close. Jeff.
And then we're going to be diving into some football because professional football is still happening. The XFL. Arlington Renegades at the Orlando Guardians. You know, I'm right with the hometown boys, the Orlando Guardians. 0-6 to start out the season. Not looking too hot, looking like one of the worst teams. As a Browns fan, I'm used to winless seasons. But we got a win last week against the undefeated DC Defenders. And now the Guardians have a chance to make the playoffs if they win this week against the Arlington Renegades. Last week it was pretty insane. They got their first win, like I said, against the undefeated team, a team that was favored by over 9.5. And now this week, for the first time in XFL history, the Orlando Guardians are favored in a matchup.
Wow.
And you know why?
Yes.
They benched Paxton Lynch and they started Quinton Dormady, the former Tennessee quarterback.
Yeah.
And the last time Arlington and Orlando played, Arlington won 10-9. It was a low-scoring game, the most low-scoring game of the XFL season so far. And that's because stupid penalties, bad plays, bad QB plays. But now it's different. Both teams look so much different. Kyle Slaughter was starting for the Defenders, and then for the Guardians, Paxton Lynch was starting. Now it's Luis Perez starting and Quinton Dormady starting. So I just think it's going to be a different matchup. Go Guardians, stand guard. Let's go make the playoffs.
Picking up their second win of the season. We'll have to wait and see. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today. For Dominic, for Phil, Kelly, Jeff, I'm Riley Shepard, and we will see you all next week.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta